Ethan, a man of science, loved pushing boundaries, his latest obsession reversing the aging process. Years of research culminated in a machine humming with power in his basement. He imagined the fan club of beautiful women, the Nobel Prize, the fame, riches beyond his wildest dreams, but first a test subject. Who better than myself, Ethan thought, his reflection staring back from the machine's shiny surface. He adjusted his glasses, a nervous laugh escaping his lips. This was it, the culmination of a lifetime's work. With a deep breath, he nodded to Karina to flip the switch. The world dissolved into a blinding white light. A high-pitched whine filled the air, and then silence. He looked down at his hands, wrinkles to have vanished. They were smaller, chubbier. In his eagerness, he set the machine to fairly young age. Panic seized Ethan as he felt his body shrinking. His clothes, now comically oversized, pooled around his ankles. The world seemed gigantic, and his perspective shifted lower and lower. He tried to call out to Karina, his assistant, but only managed a garbled talk left his mouth. His memories blurred as he shrank. Complex equations faded into nursery rhymes. Then his adult memories returned. The lab, once familiar, now loomed like a monstrous jungle gym. He stumbled out of his clothing, naked on unsteady legs, then his bare bottom hitting the cold concrete floor with a soft thud. He was a toddler again. Where was Karina? He needed her help. He needed to be changed back. Karina rushed down to his level, her jaw dropped. Ethan, or rather what was left of him, sat on the floor in distress, sucking his thumb. "Ethan," she breathed, her voice trembling. A slow, wicked grin spread across her face. "This changes everything," she muttered, her eyes gleaming with ambition. The years of toiling in Ethan's shadow, the lack of recognition, it all fueled a burning desire for revenge. She wouldn't reverse the process. She would present the invention as her own. Ethan would be a living, babbling testament to her brilliance, or rather her test subject. Section 4. Trapped in a tiny terror. Karina scooped him up, not with a comforting embrace, but with the detached curiosity of a scientist examining a lab rat. She put him on a cold metal table. She poked and prodded, making notes in her journal. He tried to protest, a reminder of who he was, but all that came out was the lisping voice of a toddler. Karina put a diaper on him from the supply they kept on hand for the test monkeys. His diaper chafed, his stomach rumbled, and his adult mind was trapped in his regressed body. He watched in horror as Karina dismantled some parts of his machine. She then moved his digital papers to a USB flash drive, erasing any evidence of his involvement. The final insult? She set up a makeshift playpen in the corner of the lab. The overturned tables more than enough to hold him. This was his new prison, his cage of infancy. Section 5. Accepting the unacceptable. Days turned into weeks. Ethan's initial fury gave way to a weary resignation. He played with his baby toys, ate mushy food, diaper changes, and endured being bathed by Karina. He put up with Karina's patronizing cooing and baby talk. Nearly every night he cried himself to sleep, the weight of his situation crushing him. One day, Karina held up a finger to silence his whining. "You see, Ethan," she said, her voice dripping with false sweetness. "You should be grateful. You're a scientific marvel. You get to be my perfect son." He looked at her, a strange sense of clarity washing over him. He was trapped as her adopted son, maybe doomed never to reach puberty ever again. His life, his work, his very adult identity stolen, and the worst part, he might be stuck like this forever. Karina got it all, the wealth, power, and the scientific prizes. She even had a youth machine installed in their new mansion home encoded to her DNA and passcode. Ethan dreaded how long he'd be stuck wearing diapers.